No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We're going to be talking today about one of the dilemmas that we have when it comes to retirement. This is a retirement income challenge, if you will. We're going to delve into a few things there, one of them being healthcare costs. Recent study shows that the average cost out of pocket, this is what you're going to pay out of pocket for the average 65-year-old couple over 20 years in retirement, let's say from 65 to 85, average out-of-pocket cost just for health care runs between $260,000 and almost $400,000. Think about that for a second. That is a lot of money. Do you have that money set aside, or do you have a plan to be able to pay those health care costs? This is one of the things we're going to delve into, is both showing how those costs, where they come from, basically, what is covered by Medicare and what's not. We're also going to talk about how then you can, in fact, plan for to put a plan together to cover those costs, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. So one of the things we're also going to be talking about is the retirement income challenge. This has to do with when you're retired, some of the different challenges that you're going to face that are different than those things that you've had prior to retirement. So some of the risks that you face are an example of that. They're different. All right. One of these is understanding some key dates as well, so you can understand what these key ages or dates would mean for you and what kind of decisions you need to be able to make, and be planning again for those as well. I have clients that come in all the time, and this is one of the areas, is understanding that, for instance, when they're when they want to retire, and what ages, as far as when to take Social Security, how Medicare works when they sign up, what those enrollment dates are, what the costs are for Medicare, understanding other things like how you can, at what ages you can access your retirement accounts, like your 401ks, TSP, thrift savings plan, that is, 403bs, any of those. There are penalties. As you know, if you've been watching for any amount of time, you know that if you're under age 59.5, for instance, for IRAs, and you take money out, you're subject to not only the tax on that money, but a 10% tax penalty. Then there's that, we talk about required minimum distributions. At age 70.5, you must start taking money out of those retirement plans based on the uniform lifetime table that the IRS has, and those are called required minimum distributions. Uncle Sam, if you will, the IRS has let you get away with not paying taxes, being able to defer it and be able to grow that money, but now they want you to start taking that money out and paying tax. So another key age is 70.5. At that point, you have to take those required minimum distributions. If you don't, there is a 50% penalty. So these are key things to understand, and make sure that you're planning for those when the time comes. The other is understanding the tax then that you're going to have to pay. That's why we get into Roth conversions as one planning strategy. Sometimes you might have enough money in your 401k, or that, say, it's going to build up to a point where when you do have to take those required minimum distributions, it might push you up into a higher tax bracket, causing you to have to pay higher taxes. So we look at strategies to help minimize those taxes. These are all part of this retirement income challenge, we call it. These are all part of planning because of the different complexities that are involved in retirement, as far as all the rules that go around retirement plans, around Social Security, around Medicare, all the decisions that you're going to have to make when you're investing in retirement, the difference there in terms of the risk, how to protect your assets, how to grow them, protect them, and get the income you need from them, right? How to put all that together. It's a lot easier before retirement because all we're looking at is growing those assets. That's the biggest thing we're concerned about, and we have time on our side so we can ride out the volatility in the market. But when you retire, that volatility becomes your enemy. There's a sequence of returns risk, and that can cause you to, if you're taking money out of an account and it goes through a bear market, or when the next bear market occurs, that could cause you to have a much more difficult time in terms of recovering from a bear market, or with regard to possibly even running out of money sooner without a proper plan in place. So a proper plan will take that volatility into consideration and make sure, in fact, that you'll be able to have the income that you need, that you won't have to worry about cutting back on, not being able to continue going back to work, as an example. One of the things that people voice to me when they come in is, look, I want to know if I can retire. I want to make sure I can maintain my standard of living and quality of life, and I don't want to run out of money. Right? So if there's and I'm a little nervous about the market. It's the second longest bull market in history. How long is this going to continue? And what happens when the market goes down? Am I going to, what impact is that going to have on me? Am I going to have to, work longer? Or am I going to have to, if I'm already retired, might I have to go out and find some other way of making income to make ends meet? These are all to make sure I don't run out of money. So these are the questions with a good plan can answer for you. And since we don't know when that next bear market's going to be, since we don't know next year or the next 3 years what the market's going to do, we plan accordingly. We plan so that if the market goes down, we're able to have a safe amount set up so that we can maintain our standard living. We can still maintain that income need while we ride out that volatility on other assets. Other ways that we can help minimize volatility in the way that we construct our portfolio. We're going to get into a lot this morning. So be ready, all right? You want to have pen and paper because we're going to cover some things. I want you to write down some numbers for me because when it comes to calculating out these risks, these are things that are going to be important to you. And then we're going to do one other thing for you, right? For the first 10 callers, I'm going to make it real easy. For the first 10 callers to my office this morning, the number is 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by to take your information. This is for a free retirement income analysis. So I'm going to cover, I've been just talking about all these different things you would have to do. Well, guess what? For the first 10 callers, you can come in and I will help you do that, all right? I'll help you set up a plan that answers all these questions and more for your specific situation as well, which is quite important, right? So again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by to get your information. She'll send you out a packet of things to bring to your appointment with me, a checklist of things that you'll want to bring, as well as when you come in to see me, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. All right. So we're going to dive into what we're going to call the retirement. Well, this is a great piece, by the way, that I picked up from Nationwide, one of the partners here, the Retirement Income Challenge. All right, so in the Retirement Income Challenge, when we look at what retirees need to make a series, again, we're talking about important decisions between ages 55 and 70 and a half. So at age 55, so if you're retired and you've got money in a 401k, this is the first time you may withdraw that money without that 10% penalty. Now this is real important because if you're between age 55 and 59 and a half, we talk about what to do with a retirement plan as an example. When you leave an employer, normally 401k, you want to go ahead and roll that into an IRA at that point, and there are a number of reasons for that. So when you're working, and one of the benefits of a 401k, of course, is you can have payroll deduction. It makes it easy to contribute to. You can put more money in a 401k. The limits are much higher at $18,000 pre-age 50 and $24,000 over age 50. So it gives you a lot of money you can put into your 401k compared to, say, an IRA where you're limited to $500 or $6,500. So one of the things there is you can put more money in. The other thing is when it comes to matching. If you have employer matching, free money, so you'd want to take advantage of that. So these are reasons for having a 401k while you're working. Once you leave work, however, one of the downsides of 401ks is that they have very limited investment options. So when you leave, you've got more investment options you can take advantage of, and now we can put more in play. However, here's the key. If it's between 55 and 60 that you're retiring, or 55 and 59 and a half to be exact, and you need to take income, we may want to leave some money in that 401k to allow you to access income from it without penalty until you're past age 59 and a half. Then we can still take advantage of the IRA. All right, age 62, this is the age in which you're first eligible for Social Security. And this is one of those areas that, again, a big decision. Do I take age at age 62, at age 67, or 66 to 67, depending on your age, which would be your full retirement age? Or do I wait until age 70 and a half when I can get an even bigger amount of money? This is one of those one of the questions that we answer whenever we work with new clients, is helping them make that decision. If you're already taking Social Security, we talk to you about the tax implications and how to minimize taxes on your Social Security. Age 65, this is the age at which you're first eligible for Medicare. And this is another important. If you're still working, that may look different for you when you sign up for Medicare. For instance, if you're still working and you have health care through your employer, you can sign up for Part A, and you must, in fact, do that. And in Part B, though, you can postpone without penalty until such time as you're no longer working, and then you would have to, of course, set up for that. Age 66 to 67, again, is full retirement benefits, as we said. Age 70 is the maximum Social Security benefit eligibility. Past age 70, at 70, you might as well take it, because if you've waited that long, because it's not going to increase after that. But between your full retirement age and age 70, it goes up 8% a year. So that's a 32% difference in terms of how much money that you would receive. So if you think about that, if you were going to get $2,100 when you were age 60 at your full retirement age, say 66, then at age 70, that would be like $2,800. So that's per month. That's a big difference, $700 more per month that you'd get at age 70. And again, at age 70 and a half, when you must take those required minimum distributions. And this is an area that we get into quite a bit with clients, because I sometimes have still new clients coming on board and they haven't either even taken the RMD, or they haven't taken enough to satisfy that. And we can get that fixed for you, but it's real important to understand how that works and to make sure that you're taking those required minimum distributions. All right. So again, retirement income challenge. One of them is, how do you invest for growth? This is one of the big ones, right? When you're leading up to retirement, investing for growth is what it's all about. You want to build up those assets as much as you can. The other is, though, in addition, understanding, by the way, when it comes to how to invest for growth, understanding that asset allocation is the biggest determinant of the return you're going to get on your portfolio. So it's not just having a bunch of, oh, that looks good, this mutual fund looks good, that stock looks good, that bond, maybe that's, given a decent interest rate, and it becomes just a hodgepodge of things, right? A mix-up match, and it's not really applying the principles of portfolio, of asset allocation in a portfolio that we know now. We have 60 years of Nobel Prize winning academic research that shows us how to construct a portfolio to get the best return with the least amount of risk or volatility. The next part, risk management. How do you protect those assets? Well, there again, that asset allocation can play a big part of that. And understanding what your needed rate of return on your investments is another big piece, right? Once we determine what the needed rate of return is, then we look at putting an investment plan together that will minimize your risk at the process, give you more peace of mind. Now, that needed rate of return, that's how much you need to make on your money to make sure that you've got the income you need from it to never run out of money in retirement. All right, so we start there. And then income. How much income, in fact, are you going to take, and when? And that's the other piece of good planning, is we're determining, we can see, well, how much income are you need to pull from your investments at that time when you retire, or at some point in retirement, depending on what your income streams are and all the factors that we look at. All right, so that's the part of a good comprehensive plan. We're going to get into this some more, and I'm going to give you another opportunity, right? If you want a comprehensive plan, you want to see how that works, I'm going to help you construct some things today. I'm going to share with you some things about the income challenge, and of course about healthcare costs, which is the biggie. But first, we're going to take a break. So join me here. We'll be right back on a Retirement Report.